December 10th meeting of the ERB. Got the agenda. First thing on the agenda is MC3 Ventures. It's for a proposed automotive retail and service business on 17M and 0.65 acres. Anybody have any concerns with it?
Well, my concern there is that at the last planning board meeting, at the request of the applicant, they were held over until the following meeting because they had new plans coming.
Yeah.
Those plans are, as of an hour ago, not on the town website, so I couldn't possibly speak to the project as I have no idea what that plan's gonna look like.
I agree. I don't see anything changed from before, and I think we had our comments from before.
Refresh my memory.
Part of the reason for their adjournment also was because they hadn't closed on it either.
Okay.
So that was mostly the reason for their adjournment.
Okay, because they did say that.
Yes, they were redoing the plans, but they also adjourned because they hadn't closed. So he didn't really want to spend the money to redo everything until he closed.
Okay,
So if that helps, I mean.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
that explains their thinking anyhow.
well, my comments would then be that, we've already submitted comments, I have no changes, unless that plan changes significantly, in which case I'd wanna look at it again and
Yeah.
give our ideas to planning, otherwise, I'm good.
Yeah. John?
What were concerns? I can't remember.
I think we were concerned, there was a lot of missing information. There's no lighting on here, whether they want lighting or not.
Yeah,
They had, at one point in time, they were showing display parking out front.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This one?
It's this whole thing. It's a vacant piece of property, there's a dwelling next door that,
Oh, 17, they're going this way.
yeah, it's going this way, right. Yep, so the parking is behind like it's supposed to be.
Good,
Uh,
except they want to put stuff out front too?
Except they're proposing to have 2 display parking areas.
This is for sale?
This is for sale, yeah.
So they want to sell, plus they also want to repair.
Right. Basically, right, they're doing both, probably pretty much along the lines of the guy who does all the Subaru work down there. There's a guy over here somewhere that does a lot of Subaru repair work, and he sells the used Subarus.
Okay.
I forget the guy's name.
On the other side of the road?
On the other side of the road, right by Milmar.
Used to be P-Tax Garage.
Yeah.
45, 50 years.
Yep, that'd be the ones.
It was yesterday.
And the guy worked for Subaru before, and
Yeah.
now he does almost all Subaru repairs.
Okay, so he's,
Yep.
Subaru, go
If you have a Subaru, that's the guy we're talking about.
Well, again, we did say that it does fit it fits the neighborhood, it is permitted use,
Yeah.
it is a commercial business in the highway commercial, barring some glaring changes. Then I would like to see what the change is gonna be. If it was just a matter of them not closing and all remains the same, I think our comments stand. If it is gonna change, then
We'd like to see something
we'd like to
else.
see it.
Yes. Go ahead, John.
I mean, if they ever widen this or put in water and stuff, so where is the water gonna go? Is it-
We don't
they
know.
have to take any of his or?
We have no idea. As of right now, the way the town board's talking is that anybody who's not on Science of the Soul, Amy's Kitchen, or Verhaeg's property that's the only part of that's gonna be district. Everything else who wants to hook up to that is going to be an out-of-district user, and they'd have to provide their own hookups.
Oh, really?
But I can picture no reason why this place would need to have any kind of sewer water hookup.
No.
Their usage is gonna be, I think that the point in time they're talking about two employees. If they doubled that to 4 employees, that's only 60 gallons a day.
One more question about that.
Yep.
If you got this, and this, for the Duke, anybody that's in between here is not gonna have to pay for that unless they hook up, or what? How they
They-
gonna portion the cost of all
You
that?
got great questions, and there are
They're
no
good questions, and
answers.
that's, all those are up in the air. We have not really, I have not heard a plan as to how that's gonna be resolved. I have heard about a $3 million line possibly that's gonna have to be extended, and then
So the
But
three of
how-
those guys are gonna have to pay for that initially, then.
somehow or other they get reimbursed for it, and I'm not sure why they would necessarily build a line that's gonna be big enough to handle additional people jumping onto it. So maybe that water line or that sewer line is put there is not sufficient for anybody else to hook onto.
Yeah.
And the other problem with that, and it's kind of the problem that Amy's Kitchen has, is that unless you're gonna use that amount of water, being like 300,000 gallons a day, the water doesn't move through the line fast enough to come through goods, treated still,
Yeah.
and you don't have enough water going back for sewer to flush it all the way back to Middletown. So those things are gonna,
Yeah.
These are engineering problems, and
this is gonna be, certainly,
I mean,
Expertise, yeah.
at the point where sewer and water district was really planned, I would hope that that is resolved as that.
it
How it's
was,
gonna be done and,
it was discussed at the last town board meeting. Councilman Cantorino had some great questions, and, was told that we'd have those answers by, answers his questions by next meeting, because the town is looking to sign an agreement with the city of Middletown to basically keep that line open, because they had an agreement with Amy's that is defunct, and
Okay.
the town would like to take over the, transportation district that Amy's had set up and approved with the DDC. But again, as Neil just said, the questions of, you can't just put a 12-inch line in there and let the water sit in there waiting for future development. It has to be developed, and these are the questions that, we all have.
and who determines what size goes in there, anticipating that somebody else might join? I'm not sure how that comes out.
But as far as this project goes, it's a good question, because this property in particular, may be more valuable if it gets municipal water and sewer.
Sure.
Right, how do we get to that point? That is the question. And it's not, it looks like what was going to be a traditional, water district is now a much more complex issue. I think it can be done, but
Less traditional anyhow.
less traditional, gonna be costly, and there's a lot of engineering questions. But so far,
This guy, he's repairing and doing stuff, wastewater, oil and.
Right, he is, oil and that kind of thing, yeah.
He's gonna,
Yes, he is, so
have an idea of what he's gonna do with it?
it has a dumpster area back here. We should have a waste oil recovery, place. Yeah,
He's gotta get it from here to here though, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna take it out of the bucket. and
But,
use it.
by,
Dump
bucket,
it,
whatever, yeah,
go carry it to the
it's
whole
all,
tank.
yeah,
Dump it in.
yep, and it may be that way, so certainly the question about, waste oil
Yeah.
and, any other fluids, antifreeze and that kind of thing. Yep.
And variances because how close is he to the house or?
I think the house is actually on his
The
property.
house is on his property.
Right.
Oh, good.
Yes.
That's not his problem, it's their problem.
It's
All right.
whatever problem it is, but yeah,
That's,
but you're right,
all right,
okay?
fine.
good with that.
But certainly the question for the planning board is to ask the questions on that
Yeah.
wastewater oil and,
Yeah.
and any other liquids,
Yep.
and used car parts. Good. Okay, next one is, I think pretty much resolved at the last meeting. Louis Lemper Drive warehouse, offsite improvements, that was the one that, the only thing happening in the town was the, offsite improvements for a project that was happening in the village of Florida. And they were coming up to the, parking lot for the, exercise facility down there, or fitness facility. And at that point in time, we had talked about making sure that that intersection is delineated somehow, either with an overhead light or with some kind of real protection that people don't just go driving right
Straight
through.
through.
And the same thing with the turn up here coming in, that's very much being marked. Again, so traffic sees that, and we don't have a bunch of accidents or fender benders.
And I believe they did just that. Did the planning board, didn't they approve this?
I think
Yeah,
it's,
they approved that, so onward.
okay, battery energy storage.
Whoa, wait.
Well, I'm sorry, John.
For those again who can't remember from minute to minute here,
What are we on?
they're gonna have to pay some of that lot or what is it?
Lemka?
Yeah.
That's
Capped.
it's gonna be blacktop or whatever. What's already there in the town is already there, and it already is blacktop.
Oh, okay, so it's not
It's not, they're doing nothing additional, no additional blacktopping in the town.
for us, it's,
Yeah, they're gonna cap it, they're going to restripe it, and they've moved the handicaps, parking lots down next to the door.
okay. That sounds good.
Okay, Hartley Road, 114 battery energy storage is, we're hitting this, and we're gonna hit this again later. Local law number 9 is the temporary moratorium on the battery energy storage. So let's talk, we're gonna talk separately about what the proposal is right now. And the planning board voted to allow a resolution to be approved for this, or written for this, with the full understanding that at least some of the people did not think it was ready to be approved. There were some still outstanding issues, and I haven't seen it. Did they submit that study that they showed where it was, that the claimant showed that it was?
I have not received it.
You have not received anything from them since the last meeting. So they were supposed to present that to everybody. They had this thing, how it was really safer and this and that, the other thing. And they claimed they had right there at the meeting, they were trying to, hey, you can have this copy, have this copy. So apparently we have not received it yet.
So this is a report that was done after the fires upstate Warwick. They
Yeah.
took a look at these fires and they checked for contamination afterwards. And supposedly, this report says there's no contamination. They say it was written by a third party. They do not say who the third party is, and as you said, the town has not received it. I would like to read it. I would like to know who commissioned the study, who paid for it. Won't be surprised at all if it's somebody in the business, because this is how these things are done. However, it is possible that after an event, a catastrophic event, there's no groundwater contamination. You can't say there's no contamination to the air because, well, it's smoke rising into the air. Aside from that, Neil, there's the question of their road frontage. They wanted 100% variance from.
They're looking for a lot of variances. They're looking for a lot of variances.
So can you help me understand, at what point will they go to zoning for that variance?
Well, they cannot go, they have been, I believe they've been to zoning already, but zoning cannot act on anything until secret has been completed.
Okay,
Okay, I think that's where we're at? Yep. So, the planning board is the lead agency, so until the planning board says seeker is complete, the ZBA cannot take any action, nor can the town board take any action.
okay.
I think it's the town board.
This is a topic adjacent, if you will. Our notes, our work product goes to the planning board. Now, zoning will eventually get this as a zoning variance.
Right. Yes, they have seen it already. I
Now-
think there were about 5 variances requested.
So from the environmental point of view, of course, there are plenty of questions, but I'm not sure where this zoning of wanting to do away with the road frontage, I have, as a resident of the town, I have a big concern for a parcel within a parcel, right? So this is a cutout parcel that an owner is leasing out to a company to use. I have difficulty with that in that,
Sure, basically, these are 2 landlocked parcels.
it's a landlocked parcel,
Yes.
right? And I suppose if I don't know if this is ever done, John, where you know, let's just say you have acres and acres of hay, acres of it. And you hay the field, but somebody comes to you and says, I would like to hay this center 5 acres. There's just the center 5 acres, because that's really good hay, whatever it is. And set up something like this. Well, this is an agreement between 2 private entities. And I guess that's fine until the town needs to get involved. But in this case, the town's involved. And how do we allow a business to work with inside a business? There's a reason that the town requires 200 foot of road frontage for each one of these parcels. And they don't have, not a foot.
So we would or could allow, where they have access to the road by an easement, and I don't know they have shown any easements.
Well, assuming that TAM Enterprises would give them the easement,
Sure.
and then if there's a problem later on down the road, that's a them problem?
Well, so at least legally, there is a legal easement or a way to access this property legally, from now until eternity, whatever, as long as there's an easement in there. I would think, and I have not heard about any easements, I have not seen any easements.
Can either of you recall a project in town that allows such an easement on a landlocked parcel?
In black dirt, it's more common than something other.
That's what I was
You go over the
thinking.
black dirt to get to.
So somebody else's backyard.
Right.
Yeah, yours or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
you're raising vegetables, you're not gonna put a landfill or spread some kind of municipal sludge on it like that's a contravention with the code, but this is really different. I mean,
Yeah,
voltage, storage and stuff like that, but at least wouldn't that, I mean, if Cam wants to do this, and he's gonna collect money for this, why wouldn't you just do that? How much traffic is there gonna be in and out of that thing?
once it's set up, theoretically, it's probably gonna need almost no traffic.
By giving him an easement, is he liable for that thing blows up or contaminates?
I have no idea, I guess he might be liable for something.
I think you'd only be liable if he caused it, but I don't see,
Yeah,
I
Or it's
mean,
gonna be liable, I would think that and I don't know how they're gonna mark this, since the whole place is pretty much gravel.
yeah.
How are they going to mark the fire department access road
To,
on the gravel so that people don't ever park there or park equipment there? That certainly is a concern I have. That if there ever comes a point where there's an emergency access needed, that somehow it's in existence and it's not you have to go weaving around all the
yeah, buildings.
well then
buildings,
back,
not just buildings, but the equipment, I mean, there's big trucks out there.
Yeah.
then back to my original issue was eventually this thing goes to zoning. And does the ERB have communication with zoning? Can we forward our thoughts and notes to zoning?
Yes, we can certainly, they can certainly be sent along. And in fact, if we knew what their agenda is, we're probably part of our responsibility is probably to advise them also already.
Okay. I asked this because at a zoning meeting, they brought up 6.5 Station Road, and they were talking about things that we'd already spoken
Yeah.
about 2 months before. And I'd asked the chairman, do you have our notes on that? He said he did not. And then Sean Hoffman told me afterwards that, they weren't supposed to have those notes, that our notes go to planning. And I'd like to clarify that with him a little bit more. Again, the thing is, Sean's got so much information, and he just knows the ins and outs, that sometimes it's,
I
gotta
think
school me up a little bit, I don't speak at his level, so.
I think that he is correct, that that's the way it generally has been done.
Okay,
I don't think that there is a preclusion, in fact, I'm sure there should not be a preclusion, that the ERB's comments and on projects should not go to the ZBA when they're considered those projects.
I do know that in our previous discussions on this project, we did send along our notes to planning, that we did have concerns with not having road frontage, and also with the non-porous surfaces, et cetera. I don't have anything new on this, because we are gonna talk about the possibility of a moratorium.
Right, and I think the other thing I brought up the other night, and I couldn't find it again, is I think that the state has a fire code that says that these things have to be further away from the property lines, and as it's set up, or whatever design right now, I'm not sure these lots that are being proposed to be subdivided will in fact be able to meet those setbacks.
And there is also, in there, there's a lot of information online now about this through the town website. There's talk of wells and public use wells. And there is a public use well within the distance not allowed, and there was gonna be concerned about contamination to that well. Now, it doesn't say what that well is, it doesn't say where it is, and I don't know if it's the lip-off well, but it also does say in this, the paperwork online, that it will be serviced by the new water district. That does not exist. And it was talking about fire suppression, which doesn't matter because you're not gonna put water on it anyway, but it seems like there are a lot of assumptions there.
Except that they do say, the fire department does say in their letter, says that they will surround it and keep it
Yes.
from, use water to keep it from spreading to other properties.
And just the foliage, man, if you have a fire in the middle of August,
Yep.
that's kindling, and you gotta get that wet down, otherwise,
Mhm.
yeah, we'll burn to the
No, I
heritage
think,
trail.
I think the honest answer is that if there was a fire here, they're gonna use it, maybe not to suppress the fire, but to suppress the spread of it.
And you have a lot of equipment on Tam's property right there, I can't imagine he's looking to lose millions of dollars in equipment. So, yeah, you would need to throw water on that, and that would need to be a municipal water supply, that does not yet exist,
Mhm.
so,
or there should be water storage. And it could be, I mean, I don't know how much it would take to consider, but, at one point in time, they were going to hook up to the water supply that was going to Amy's kitchen. And so the question there was whether or not they had access to that, or would be allowed to have access to that.
When that goes back to this, if they do make this water district and put add-ons, they have to pay to get into the water district, and they gotta run the pipe, they're close.
Yeah.
That one's easy, you know. Okay, so I don't know that it was,
Except that, depending on what the flow, possible flow is and what the possible flow is needed, you may deplete enough water for that day anyhow,
yep,
that,
okay.
Somebody has to shut down.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I didn't have anything more on that then.
John?
So,
Okay, we'll come back to, at the bottom here, to the moratorium. Okay, Club Antaraga, Antaraga Mansion. We all know the property, right? Okay, so this, it starts out with the building, that's there is 10,830 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
The use that's being proposed is allowed in this zone, up to the limit of 5,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is what's permitted by code. Honestly, I have no problem at all with them using the entire building as Sarah. It's pretty stupid, I think, for us to want people to reuse existing buildings and then say, but you can only use half of it, you have to shut the other half down.
the building that's there is 10,000 square feet?
Yeah, the building that's there right now is 10,830 square feet.
But they also want to add on to that?
A lot.
A lot, okay?
Must be nice to have that kind of money.
Right, what they wanted to do was to add on to the point where they wanted to go up to 55,200 square feet. Or they want to add essentially 45,000 square feet, roughly 44,000 square feet.
If you remember, we initially got this plan and it was going to be, I think they wanted about 15,000 square feet, right? And now they're up to 55,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And this, you know, look, we know that they build a beautiful property. We know they run a great business. They're talking about a massive building at 55,000 square feet. And, same concerns, Neil, when, you know, you're allowed up to 5,000, and then this one was approved in the past for up to 10,000. I can see it. I was, you know, up to 15,000 last time. I'm like, oh, okay. You get to 55,000, I'm thinking, hang on a second. And a lot of that, and they talked about the use of having basically a hotel, right? They want to have rooms.
Yeah, they definitely want to have 31 one-bedroom guest rooms.
Okay.
They definitely want that. There was some discussion at the planning board as to whether or not they're going to be available for the general public to rent or use the rooms, or whether you had to be part of the event.
Okay.
It's like, all right, if you're gonna have a wedding there, then anybody who's going to your wedding is allowed to take a room, or up to
Yeah.
whatever. Or if there is no wedding there, are people allowed to rent the hotel room?
Yeah.
And the answer was they wanted to go with the hotel room, but if they were being told that was not a permitted use there, which is correct. And so the claim here is that they can use these guest rooms or hotel rooms
Yeah.
because they're accessory to the event space.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, and I think it's a frank issue, as to whether or not hotel rooms are normally accessory to event spaces.
Well, just about every hotel that I've stayed at has a conference room, conference center.
So which one's accessory to which?
It's right, at some
No, I
point,
agree with
it's a
you.
difference without distinction, right? Exactly, is it a hotel with conference rooms, or is it a conference center that has hotel rooms? Now, hotels are simply not allowed in the zone, and I don't know if there's any way to get around that for
No.
the applicant?
No, there really is not.
Okay.
You would have to, it would have to be a use variance, in which case the use variance has to show that you can't make a reasonable return on your money without that.
Okay.
For any other use, you have to disprove every other use.
I would like to say, we all wanna see this building used, we wanna see this property making money. I am hesitant to say, let's just change our zoning laws to allow something to, I mean, at some point, you're just making new law, right? You're just.
Sure, but it's a legislative thing, and if in fact, a long time ago, Club on Dragon, that little restaurant in front.
Yes.
I don't know if you
Italian
remember.
American Club.
Italian American Club there, and in all honesty, they wanted to open up as a restaurant, when restaurants weren't allowed on that property. And so one way they got around it was, you had to join it and become a member of the dinner club.
Yes.
Or whatever, so that's how they got around it. And in fact, subsequent to that, the town board went and changed it and said, you're allowed to have up to 5,000 square feet on a state or county road in almost any, I think it's in almost in any zone within the town. Certainly, I think it's within the RU zone. So that's how this is allowed to be 5,000 square feet there.
Okay.
However, I think to make it a hotel use would require legislative action.
Again, you're making new law, and
Yeah.
you talk about stretching the fabric of reasonability. To me, how far are we gonna go? And we're talking about precedent. If this guy did it, the next guy, that's an issue. And while we're on that subject, the applicant says it is in the opinion of the applicant that the catering facility and associated services meets the code definition of a service business, in quotes, which is permitted by special permit only in connection with agricultural use as provided by 9718C. Only in connection with agricultural use.
Or, and it goes on more than that, really, in that section.
Well, I have the use table right here. Service business,
No, I agree.
SA.
Well, it's a question of whether, I guess, is, I
Oh,
guess
I'm just
in
saying,
the event spaces like that again, I'm assuming Frank thinks it meets this definition of service as opposed to a eating establishment, which.
I'm not even hung up on the service part. And actually, we allow in this same code chart here, we allow restaurant with the same, so long as it's it says, in connection with agricultural use.
Yeah.
Farm to table.
Yeah.
That, you know what, sold, agree completely, that's agricultural use.
Okay.
Okay.
So they're gonna have to go and buy your beef, and they're gonna have to.
No, they have.
Don't get me in trouble there.
They gotta let the lambs graze on the property.
they have to do-
Well, come on, how are you, if you're gonna call a farm,
Or it has to be developing or selling their produce or something like that.
are you, if you're gonna have a garden in the back and pull heirloom tomatoes and make the sauce, I'm good with all of that.
That's
What's
more
the section,
inspection.
9718?
It is 9718 sub C, sub 1. I'm sorry I didn't print that
No, it's okay, man.
out, but I
Okay,
can.
residential structures, so, right, small scale businesses. They allow residential structures in existence as of 2004, may be used for business purposes by special permit, if allowed by the use table, provided that their exterior appearance is not significantly modified, and that the business use does not occupy more than 5,000 square feet of floor area. New structures not exceeding 5,000 square feet, new structures now, in floor area, may be built that comply with this section, provided that they maintain the residential appearance. So this new building is supposed to look like a residence.
Well, no, the drawings they have, it's beautiful, but you could not mistake this for anything other than an event space.
But that's a distinction that the planning board has to arrive at.
Mhm.
And that all parking areas are screened from view from adjoining properties and public roads.
Ooh, this will be tough.
They have it up there tucked into the back, and I think with the trees that they planted, they could do it.
Parking's gonna be in back of the building?
It'll be up on the top and to the left, where the existing parking lot is, they're just going to extend it,
Okay,
which is I think doable, but,
yeah.
it'll take a couple years for those trees to grow in. But going back to,
Here we go, John.
that building pretty big? 55, and by the way, while we're looking at those plans,
This is part of the existing?
That's roughly the part that's existing.
I don't see that there's any part existing. I looked on Google Earth today, I did the overlay, I would've, looks like to me they got to drop that whole building.
So this is, I don't really, this is what the proposal looks like. So that's the proposed residential looking building. And that's all down to one side. So this is all, this goes beyond this. This is that there, and that still keeps on going.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Presidential
And
ballroom.
it still keeps going this way. Okay, this corner here, you don't see it going, it keeps on going.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a, that is beautiful.
Yeah,
You can enter from
we don't have any 55,000 square foot residences in the town. We approached 20 maybe.
Really?
We'd like down, you think we have 20,000 square foot residences?
I'm sorry?
20,000 square foot residence.
Anywhere in the town?
I think we may off of Arcade,
Yeah, I think maybe the one.
Yeah, that one down there.
In the back, yeah.
yeah, way back there.
My husband and wife on one side.
Yeah, it was 2 kids, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was close.
Well, going back to the
Yeah.
thing is, if you're gonna try to, you're saying this is a permitted use because it's tied to agriculture.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
That, it is a stretch, and it's just gonna require the board to look the other way. But I don't.
No, I think that we have to say that the planning board has to be satisfied that it meets this associated with agriculture.
Okay, and again, from an environmental point of view, does it fit with the neighborhood? No, it doesn't. It's 55,000 square foot against, there is a residential neighborhood there, 8 to 10 homes in and around that area, and there's nothing else that size anywhere in the town. It looks absolutely beautiful, but you can't say that it fits in. In their EAF, they say that they don't see a problem with traffic, which, it's a 2-lane highway, and I don't see how as the event lets out, it's not a problem, but, you know,
But
so
I think-
that's an environmental factor.
Sure, and certainly if you're gonna make that statement, you have to document it.
Okay,
You know,
My-
it may be true, it may not be true, but
my issue with
provide
that
the
is
documentation.
all right, so for that, not documentation from the applicant, because that documentation is gonna say everything's fine. That would be our own traffic study.
Well,
of the town.
they prepare the work and we review it. Our traffic consultant reviews it and says whether or not it's a good enough review.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, my concern with the neighborhood over here on this side.
Yep.
But I do believe they have the buffer. And the thing is, you know, they, at the meeting, they did say predominantly weekend business. I don't see it. I think it'll run 7 days a week.
It's gonna run as often as they can get it.
Oh, absolutely, because that's
Sure,
why
and
they're
like
there to make
yourself.
money, and we wanna
Yeah.
see them succeed. But we were talking about enough traffic in and out on a constant basis that it will change 207.
Sure, certainly the traffic study there has to be
which-
done.
Okay. Like,
That's valet parking.
Oh, God, isn't that awful? I'm up there, I don't want. This is kind of close.
The question, we're questioning whether or not the valet parking is in fact hidden enough from
Hmm,
the road.
yeah,
It can't be seen from the road supposedly.
yeah. That's right on the hill, basically, you just. go-
The house is on the hill right now, certainly.
Yeah. So they either gotta get used for it, or they change the
They're
town
not,
code.
they're not gonna get, no, they're not gonna, they should never.
We never.
I can tell you that we had one or two people try to get a use variance. It's almost unheard of. And it'd be real difficult to prove.
According to the applicant on the second page of the application, they do note at the bottom of the page here, the Town of Goshen Board of Appeals, Zoning Board of Appeals, adopted a decision December 2019 that a catering and/or an event venue meets the code definition of a service business. And so, service business, event venue, I'm not arguing that, I'll call it a service business. And if a service business is tied to agriculture, then you can put it in the RU. And I think that's an uphill battle. I can't see it, bless you, okay? I can't see it, but I think that's a board issue more than an our issue, right?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, do we make mention of that to the board, or they figure that out on their own?
I think certainly we say that that's a conclusion they have to come up to
Okay.
to approve it.
The rest of it, and, you know, the thing, like I said, it pains me to watch that property sit unused for as many years as it has. I really would like to see it put to use. I'd like to see it put on the tax rolls. I want this thing to make money.
Sure.
I think it's a business generator for the town and for the village. I like all of it. I just think, quite frankly, a lot of people gotta look the other way or get real creative with the commercial recreational overlay or dinner club type thing. Because as it sits, I don't see how that gets through. My 2 cents.
So
He has other existing businesses.
he has a tremendous amount of.
And they're all venues for catering.
So let's go up Scotchtown.
Yeah.
Go up Scotchtown. He's got one on one side, one on the other side, and I think he's building this one on the second side.
Is there
one side,
any
yeah.
kind of housing for those people, or all
No.
those people gonna come and live, stay here?
I think that, I don't know. I know that the first one there didn't have housing.
The barn doesn't.
The barn doesn't, I don't think.
Is
I don't know if
House
the other
of
ones.
Fidenza across the street gonna have?
Not that I know of.
Easy or whatever that was.
Certainly, and one of the concerns I have is that, is the parking a sufficient number? And it depends on how you use the property, I think, because most cases, if you go to, we'll call it a wedding, it could be any kind of event like that. But I think most times people go two people to a car, or more.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that at times they have had things down at the barn or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that it's like the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I hear
In
this
which
all the
case,
time.
one person goes there in a car,
Yeah,
and then you now need double the parking space that you would for a wedding venue.
yeah.
So I don't know if there's enough room in the parking space to handle that.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about a 300-seat event, 300 seats is 300 parking spaces maybe, plus the staff.
Yeah, understand, yeah, what's all the staff?
Yep.
Boy, yeah.
From an environmental point of view, also in the EAF, there's a bunch of times they check off about soil erosion during construction. A project this large needs to be concerned with soil erosion, needs to be concerned with water table contamination. And
Yeah.
Neil, I don't know if this is possible, does the town have the ability to make the applicant build a silt pond during construction?
Oh, yeah, no, their whole SWIP is
Yep.
gonna have to be there. And the SWIP takes care of what's there at the end and what's there during the construction.
Okay,
So it's called erosion and sediment control, and then there's a final SWIP. And they got to come up with all of that. And in general, the state wants to see no more than 5 acres of disturbed land at any one time. Legoland far exceeded that, they knew they were gonna far exceed that, and it was not a good situation.
they actually left off here that question on, will it be done in phases? And they didn't answer the question, because I believe that's probably exactly what they were thinking at the time. The other thing in here was the water draw. A venue of this size is going to take a tremendous water draw. This is all wells out there. You do have neighborhoods next door.
Yeah.
I am sure planning will get this, but so far as our notes, that the surrounding neighborhood must be protected. And if you can't get the water you need from those wells, this is not gonna work. Or, as you've said, water containment holding facility.
Right, so they're saying that their demand is gonna be 10,000 gallons a day. Yeah.
I mean, that's substantial, and I don't know what are they in the AQ3 out there? Is that?
It's AQ3 out there.
So they've got water in the ground, and the thing is, they've got the forest and the wetland behind them.
But theoretically, wetlands are there not because you can draw water through them, but because it holds water above that.
Yep,
So it doesn't necessarily mean you have recharge, it doesn't necessarily mean anything like that.
okay.
They may have it, I'm not disagreeing with it, 10,000 gallons is roughly the equivalent of, yeah, but I'm trying to come up with number of houses.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you kind of 400 gallons per house.
250 houses?
Yeah. Right?
And this project is so early in, early phases here that I don't think there's enough information for the ERB to even to really get too deep into it, because
45 cents, yeah.
we can't even get too deep into it because we don't have that much information yet. So, but my concerns are a 50,000 square foot venue. You're wasting the applicant's time if we're not going to allow that. And quite frankly, I don't see how they do it, tying that to agriculture and so they're in seeker now, is what we're looking at, right?
Right, certainly the town planning board's gonna have to do secret.
So at some point, the town is gonna have to sign off on this 50,000 square foot venue they've gotta go to zoning board of appeals.
But they can't go, yes, they can go to the zoning board of appeals, but they cannot get a decision from the zoning board of appeals until seeker is done. And because theoretically, the zoning board of appeals should consider the results of seeker. Let's say, we know that the use is allowed, so it's not that the use is wrong, the use is correct for the zone. Now it's a question of scale. And so it may be perfectly good here at 5,000 square feet. Don't hold me to the numbers are wrong, but if it was 5,000 square feet, it would be perfectly good. However, the question may come at 20,000 square feet or 70,000 or 55,000 square feet, it may not be good.
Are we talking 10 times the size?
Yeah.
And also, I'm not so sure that zoning you're saying it's approved for that zone, and I don't see how it is, because you have to tie it to agriculture, I think.
Sure, and they have to do that. And
So
then the question is, which is it, are the rooms really accessory to the use or not? And I think the question certainly is legitimate, because you asked the question of, do any of the other venues have rooms associated with it? And we think the answer is no, in which case, are these rooms going to be allowed to be rented out to people who use the other venues? If I'm having a wedding at the barn, can I stay up here or
that's a great question. The other question is, what if the venue is leaf peeping? People wanna come in October, leaves are nice, and I just wanna, we're having a leaf peeping dinner, that's our event, come and stay with us. No, you're not here for the dinner, you're here because.
leaf peeping weekend.
Whatever, right, I'm just saying, it's an event space, so you can have an event every single night, and if you stay there to go to that event, be it a poetry reading or a dinner or something, this is not enforceable.
Well, so the question is, what's the definition of an event space, or what's the definition of whatever they call it, right?
It's not.
Yeah, event space, let's call it an event. What's the definition of an event space?
Well, I think they meet the definition of an event space, absolutely, they're gonna hold
No,
weddings
what's the
there.
definition of an event, though? That's what you're asking.
Well, okay, there you go, that's the thing, if you wanna get creative,
Everything's an
who's
event.
Everything's an event, we're having an event tonight,
Yeah.
right? So, yes, that is absolutely a question, again, even if you answer that question, none of this is enforceable. Is it a hotel with event space, or is it an event space with hotel rooms? I don't see how we go down that road. As much as I want a project like this to succeed, you have to change the zone. That's a them problem. I can't, if I allow this for one, I have to worry about every project that comes down the road and they point back and say, well, you did it for him.
Yeah. And so they also have down here that they have seasonal event spaces. And so the question certainly was talked about at the meeting, on these outdoor ceremonials areas.
Mhm.
And the answer was that you couldn't use this outdoor ceremony space unless you were using one of the, event spaces. Whereas if you're renting the indoor event space for your reception, whatever, you could use the outdoor ceremony space.
Okay. So
Now-
you could get married there, in other words, outside.
Right,
And then have dinner inside.
Right, so of course, the question was, do I have two events going on in the inside and then have additional ceremony spaces outside?
Yeah.
So how many events can you carry on at one time?
Right.
For that matter, can you, that ballroom is massive, can they put a dividing wall in the middle of it?
They should probably somehow, because suppose you only wanna have 150 people.
There you go.
I would think, it's a good question, and this has to be asked. I would think you would, because certainly, there aren't a whole bunch of people who can never always fill 300 seats.
That's a big wedding, what the
Yeah.
costs today is like, that's a fortune. Here, kids, here's the money, go elope and build a house, yeah, yeah.
But that is the question, what can be done? Now, the other question, and I know from the past that some wedding venue places will book back to back.
Yes,
I'll do an early one at 12 and I'll do another one at 6.
that's how we got married way back when, 30 years ago, but we had to get out, because the next
Next coming
people were
in.
coming in.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's a good question, because that blows away the number of, the water usage and everything else.
Absolutely.
And the
Traffic too,
And the
because
sewer, and
you
the
got
traffic,
people
yeah.
coming in, going out.
And again, this all goes towards the environment, and that's exactly what we do here, we're looking at the environment and how it's affected, and you're talking about putting a major building into the RU area, and if they change the zone, we wouldn't be talking about it, because hey, it's zoned for it, I can't say no. But
No, we
it's-
would still be talking about the environment.
Of course, but I'm saying
Right.
we wouldn't be worried about,
Whether it complies,
yes.
yes.
So my 2 cents is, as much as I want, and I do want it, I really don't want to be the guy that says no to everything, and I don't say no to everything. In this particular instance, if you can't put a hotel there, then I don't see how you can have an event space with hotel rooms, because they are nothing, I don't care what you call them, it's a hotel room. People stay there like a hotel
So how do you
room,
get,
is
how do
what it
you,
is.
I think the definition of accessory is reasonably, is associated with and reasonable and customary with that.
Okay.
I don't, no, I'm not saying that's an answer, I'm saying, I think there's a definition like that, something roughly along that line. And so the question is it customary? And
So you're saying, is it customary to have a room for rent at a
at an event
event
space.
space?
Right.
Well, there are some. Every hotel you go to.
No, but again, I'm back to is a hotel, and then is the room the accessory? Or, I think that,
And to me, I'm saying, it doesn't matter. If it looks like a hotel, it's a hotel. If it operates like a hotel, it's a hotel. But that to say, when they rent the space,
yeah.
do they have to pay extra if they wanna stay in a hotel room? Yeah, cause it's a hotel room. It's not, if you rent the space,
So
you
that's
got
a question, that's a question.
You got 30 rooms, is that the threshold you have to cross to call it a hotel room? Or do they just bump the event space price and say, hey, you get 30 rooms? Well, we don't need the rooms, it's still the same price, because we assume you're gonna take the rooms.
That's a question, it's a good question.
I think it's a heavy lift for the planning board to get past the fact that it is what it is. It's a hotel with event space, or event space with a hotel, doesn't matter, hotel is hotel. Once you put the word hotel in there.
Okay, lodging facility, okay, hotel, see lodging facility. Lodging facility, by definition, any hotel, motel, inn, or other establishment providing sleeping accommodations for transient guests with or without a dining room or restaurant, excluding bed and breakfast establishments.
Neil, if you take out the words hotel or motel and just say any building with a room for rent,
It is.
is what it is. Okay, so from my notes are that rooms to let would not be permissible in this zone. And also, I don't see how you can tie this to agriculture to call this a permitted use.
Okay, accessory use, just because we were talking.
Mhm.
Accessory use is a use customarily incidental and subordinate to the principal use or building.
Well, I think it's incidental. I think it's incidental if you're having a wedding, et cetera, but there's no way for me to enforce that. Because if there's not a wedding going on, and instead you're having a cider tasting, and you come in and you sip some cider, okay, now go out and see the leaves, et cetera. You're just using the place as a hotel. By the way, it may be a beautiful space, I may wanna stay there anyway, just to enjoy the hotel.
I don't disagree with you.
But if it's not allowed, it's not allowed. And I don't see how it's allowed. And I'm thinking about the code, I'm talking about protecting our town, protecting our residents, that's the
So
only reason
what
I'm
are,
saying.
what are the impacts of this project, Bill?
The impacts? I think
Let's
just.
assume that they get all 55,000 square feet,
Mhm.
and they have 460 seats occupied.
I think that during the phase of construction, you got a lot of people going to work. I think it's gonna create jobs, and I think it's also gonna create a lot of light pollution. It's gonna make noise pollution for the surrounding neighborhood, it's gonna cause traffic.
Right. But in general, we would consider construction noise as
Okay.
short term,
No, I'm saying once it's up and running.
Well, okay, up and running, we're talking noise and, all right, so let's talk that. Noise from,
If you have 300 cars pulling out of that parking lot, and the wedding will end right about the same time.
people generally, you
There
live
were-
in the wedding about the same time.
There are everybody's leaving, and you live in the neighborhood just over there. By the way, the closest house is 750 feet away. I checked it. The furthest one probably about 1,000 feet away. Look, that's a pretty good distance.
Yeah,
It is, and there's a wooded buffer area in there, and that will absorb a lot of the sound too. So, you're still gonna hear noise. Then again,
they better have a designated driver when they have 300 some odd cars, but some of those people are gonna be
yeah,
3 sheets to the wind.
every time. But if it was a 5,000 square foot
No,
residence being used as a business,
Yeah.
you can only support so many cars. And if the neighbors are gonna hear a few cars coming and going, so be it. I'm talking about hundreds of cars. What was reasonable?
so we're talking about the intensity and the duration of the noise.
And frequency.
Yeah.
Cause I'm thinking 7 days a week, I got a plan for 7 days a week.
Sure. If they could do it 7 days a week, they would be very happy.
And they should.
And right, I agree. Look, I mean, some of these wedding venues used to do a Friday night, Saturday night, you know. They would do 1 or 2 on Friday and then Saturday, Sunday.
But there are plenty of wedding venues now, they'll offer you a Tuesday at a discounted rate.
Yeah, sure.
They just want the space
Absolutely.
moving, and I get it, I think it's a great business plan.
Mhm. You gotta do it.
Once again, I like this whole project, I love the pictures of the place, I'd like to stay there. I don't know how you're getting around, it really, for this to get through zoning, everybody's gotta look the other way.
Either that,
No,
or
I-
change the town law.
Or change the law.
But what are the impacts are gonna be noise from the cars, light pollution, and we really have to talk, with this many cars coming out, we really have to talk about where the headlights are gonna be facing in, of course.
Yeah, there are any residences along here?
Across the way, I'm not sure, I think there might be people across
And
the
you know,
way.
while we're at it, from the smells and stuff, and I love smelling the barbecue, have the steak going.
Yeah.
But every single night, you're running a massive restaurant. How many covers are you doing at a wedding? 300, 400, you got 2 of them going on.
It's gonna do 460.
Those kitchens cooking, man, you're smelling that, and it probably smells wonderful, but if you don't wanna smell that, and, you know, I didn't live next door, so there is a residence directly across the street
Yeah.
from the entrance, but yeah, there is a residence directly across, you'd get a lot of headlights, sure you would.
Yep.
Yep.
Is that the lady that wanted, initially wanted?
I think so, I think so.
This one tears me, man, because I see so many positives for the town. I just, the town code is written, I don't see how it gets through. Not without, I mean, like I say, it's a heavy lift.
Sort of been going up to 55,000. Somewhere in there might be a suitable number. Has less impact.
I think all the problems stay the same, but they're smaller problems.
Sure.
Yep. So, you have my ideas on that, is that?
I think that's where we're at right now. Any other ideas? They have a well pump thing, they're gonna have to do the well pump. Any concerns ultimately? One of the ones I know is that along this road, 207, a long time ago, Susan Shapiro was gonna propose a subdivision along in here. And Sergio did the well testing, and came up with salt in almost every one of the wells, even in the monitoring wells.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's from road salt?
I think so.
That's not his fault.
No, it's not, but
Is that-
nevertheless, it may be an impact that needs to be considered.
Yeah.
It's only whether or not he adds to it.
Oh, God, yeah.
Becomes an issue
Yeah.
or a concern. All right,
But who's the attorney? Do they have an attorney listed or not?
for Clubhouse Robin?
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't think I've
Just
seen her
the
attorney.
engineer.
I think that Esposito is representing him
Okay.
by the board.
Esposito. He does a good job representing clients.
Okay, Amy's Kitchen and Signs of the Soul, and I don't quite understand this, but I would, no, I'm, okay, no, Amy's Kitchen and Signs of the Soul, have a site plan, that was approved, they started doing work on it, they did a lot of work, they did millions of dollars worth of work. And now their approval, the last approval is set to expire. So they need to get an approval again. Essentially, they're being told they have to start from scratch essentially. Though in fact, they could probably hand over the same materials and say, we think the materials are the same.
No, they gotta do this, I thought they were.
No, actually, you're right, RDM was going to buy, was considering that. And I think at the last meeting, either before or after the meeting, I heard that RDM is not, is that, do you know if that's?
101,
RDM,
that was 101 River Road,
yeah,
they backed out,
So,
so now it's,
they could not reach an agreement or whatever, so they have backed out. And so now Amy's Kitchen is just trying to keep this alive for the sake of selling it. Let's assume that this is going the correct way. And honestly, you know, they have a building on there, they're not complete, but they've done a lot of work. We haven't had a whole bunch of bridges built for projects. But anyhow, assuming that this is correct, then they have to go ahead and start from scratch. Is there anything about Amy's Kitchen or about that property right now, or about anything associated with that development project there that might be different than, or might have changed since they were approved 8-10 years ago, whatever it was?
does size of the building have anything?
They're not proposing anything different as far as size, they want the exact same approval that they had before.
you know, so before we can answer that question, do you know what exactly they were approved for before?
Sure, they were approved to do, to make food there, and it was up to like 300,000 square feet. They were gonna do in size. The exact shape of the building was still to be determined because they were gonna have to determine what they were gonna make inside. So what was the, lack of a better word, assembly line gonna look like? And they were gonna build a building around these assembly lines based on whether they were doing soups or these, or this or that, the other thing, pizzas. And so that's what they were gonna do, and they were gonna, a lot of it's gonna be frozen, a lot of it's gonna be canned, and then almost everything was gonna be shipped off-site to a warehouse somewhere else. They did not intend to have an inventory there, much at all. And so food was gonna come in, food was gonna go out, raw product was gonna come in, food was gonna go out.
And as part of that approval, did it include, I'm sure it included a traffic analysis?
It included a traffic analysis, and in fact, that is why River Road, that traffic light, was put there by them, and the landfill, or the transfer station across the way, they moved their road to line up with that.
Remember?
Okay, so that was all done by Amy's Kitchen, and that whole expanded intersection there where they have the left turn lane, right turn lane, and through lanes.
Mhm.
That was all based on the traffic study by Amy's. And so they did all that work.
And in that traffic study, they gave an estimated number of operations per day, trucks in, trucks out?
They had trucks in, trucks out, they did. There was a fair amount of, I was gonna say 750 employees. You remember, John? It was a fair amount of employees.
And so, if the planning board were to say, yes, you're approved for exactly what you had before, just rubber stamp this thing through, and then they sell the piece of the project to somebody else, and that person then, that entity then comes in and says, we would like to put on this building. That just goes straight to planning.
If they're doing, if they're coming in for a building permit to do the exact same thing, right?
It'd just be, nobody ever asked what they're gonna use the building for, how many trucks.
No, they should. The question can only be used for that type of a thing. That's why when RDM was coming in to do a warehouse, the feeling was that RDM's warehouse was a different use, particularly in terms of, the number of trucks, traffic that was
Right.
coming in. So yes, what that building was gonna be used for was gonna be a question, and would be a question when Frank gets a building permit. So I had heard, up the road at another project, where it was proposed for a warehouse, somebody wanted to buy that, and they thought they're gonna just go in and do manufacturing. And I think that Frank caught that, am I right here? Does that sound right? Or, up there next to, Furniture Options, or whatever it's called now.
Mhm.
Wasn't that, didn't just somebody come in for a building permit for that, that they said they wanted to do manufacturing?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the point at which, that's why it stopped at this point, because I think Frank determined that manufacturing was not the use that you were approved for. I had heard at one point in time that they're actually thinking of going 2 stories high even,
Yeah.
which would have been
Makes sense.
double the size
Yeah.
of the use.
So again, Amy's is asking
Just.
for exactly what they had.
Exactly.
So if they sell it to somebody in the food processing industry,
Right.
they're good to go. Anybody else has gotta go back through the,
Yes, it would have to be the same use.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, it's up to Frank to determine whether or not some other kind of assembly thing might be the same, even though it's not food, might be similar enough that it counts, I don't know. I'm not trying to make the case for anything,
okay,
okay?
food manufacturing.
Well,
I
it's
don't-
kind of weird, I mean, in all honesty, having seen the place, they actually had the pizza dough come down the line, and people take the slices of pepperoni with it, and it's not pepperoni, because they're vegetarians, but they take the broccoli and put it on there, and they're just a space, and they have a picture of it. This is how it should look, and they put it there like that. So it goes down like an assembly line, it really looks like an assembly line, and people assemble this pizza or this, whatever it is.
Okay,
Whatever meals they are. And so it is kind of an assembly line that way. I don't know if you assemble radios, it's the same kind of thing, I'm not arguing that.
well, that's what we're just saying.
Yeah.
If it's the same use, I'm talking about food processing. If you wanna
Yeah.
come in and assemble radios, that is something different.
Right, I don't disagree with you, I'm just saying that's
You go
gonna
from
be.
food manufacturing to electronics manufacturing,
Sure, I don't disagree at all. I'm saying Frank is gonna make that determination as to how close does it have to be, you know, because they're gonna manufacture or assemble organic food, so it doesn't matter whether it's organic or not. I would argue, no, it doesn't matter, but Frank's gonna make that determination at some point. Is this in fact the same use that was approved?
okay.
But if they just wanna put up a warehouse now, what kind of footprint are they talking about roughly?
300,000 square feet was what that was for Amy's Kitchen, it was 300,000 square foot.
So if you wanted to go twice that high or get it very.
Well, square foot was square foot.
Well,
Square foot, footprint was one thing, and overall size is another thing, right?
Yeah.
And so,
I mean.
what was approved was a 300,000 square foot footprint certainly, and and it was always considered to be 1 story.
Okay.
So you don't recall if they had a height variance?
They
granted?
did, it did have a height variance, yes.
And that would be part of this approval if the board approves it.
That would go with the property, right?
Well, here's something that we would know just in the town, and no applicant would know it, that we are currently looking at overhauling our master plan.
Yeah.
there will be some changes to buildings that size and their use and permitted use in what areas. So I think approving this without first having that plan out is a mistake.
Yeah.
Because
So
we're,
you think that there should be essentially what you're calling for is a moratorium on this?
well, unfortunately, you can't put a moratorium on a single project. It would have to be
Yeah, on all projects.
on all projects.
But you could do that on all projects, but the town board has not proposed that.
It's been proposed and
Well,
it's not gonna happen.
yeah, the town board hasn't proposed it, but.
Playing devil's advocate, if it's a warehouse, you're gonna have a lot less traffic, you're gonna have less water, you're gonna have 700 people working there, you're gonna have maybe whatever.
Right, and all depending on what the use is.
Well, yeah, we don't
I'm-
know.
I'm
So
with
it's
you.
a problem.
But the warehousing issue may be entirely different, though, because we certainly have talked about it with the other RDM things, whether it's the last mile warehouse or is it the
Right,
transfer warehouse.
right,
In other words, if I'm gonna bring in tractor trailer loads of material and send it out in these little vans like Amazon, that's a big difference in traffic than if I just every tractor trailer in, tractor trailer out. So yeah, and our traffic consultant has said that repeatedly too, that there's a big difference in that. And so Amy's Kitchen is not asking for that, Amy's Kitchen is not asking to be a warehouse, Amy's Kitchen is looking for the same thing, and I think roughly they had, I'm gonna say 6 bays for trucks to back up to.
Yeah, that's-
I'm not sure that's the right number, but
And
it was
also-
very limited.
and also in this request, I don't see that there's a time on it. They're asking to be reapproved, but reapproved until when?
The reapproval would be with the usual, probably 18 months, whatever, they're not asking for an extension.
Well-
So they're looking for somebody to buy this.
They're looking for somebody to buy the property rate
So
My-
they won't go
with
down.
some kind of approval, otherwise you buy a raw piece of land with no approval, that's,
Yeah.
the value drops tremendously.
So they're gonna be in the market to look for somebody that wants a 300,000 square foot building to process some kind of food.
Ideally, and.
I mean, you're looking for a very specific buyer.
Yeah.
And you very much want to be able to sell them with the sewer and water that they need, because
Yeah.
that, you have a big investment in that.
Sure, get
Uh,
the bridge and all that, yeah.
And just to go back, I believe they get, once you get a site plan approval, you have 18 months to get a building permit, and you can get a 6-month extension after that, so 2 years.
Yeah, it does, but Amy's, Mega Man took
Yeah.
longer than that to finish. I don't know. that's
And I
what I'm
can,
saying.
and I can understand on a certain project,
Yeah.
yes, you're gonna have to make that.
Sure.
And yes, accommodation should be made.
Mhm.
But in this case, we're just talking about an open-ended,
No, they're talking 18 months and then maybe a 6-month extension, whatever they're like.
and then what? And then what?
Then they'd have to come back again and see if they could do it again if they didn't have it.
Either we got rules or we don't got rules. This is a
No,
problem.
so that's why,
Bend the
that's why,
rules. Come
no,
on.
we're not bending the rules in this case, what they're really saying is, you're starting over again. So if somebody was coming, if Amy's Kitchen was, it doesn't matter, if it was anybody else, if it was any other name coming in and saying, we had this approval, we want to continue this approval, all we're asking is that we be allowed to have this approval still going forward. And so what they're really saying is, look, and so we said, look, you can't just get it rolled over, you have to start from scratch, so we're gonna have to approve seeker on this, we're gonna have to say, see, we reaffirm everything we considered in a seeker, and we're satisfied that things are substantially the same.
And how long would that take, do you think, if we're gonna fast track it?
We're gonna,
I'm thinking it takes 2 months, maybe,
No.
maybe a month.
no,
2 meetings?
I think they're talking, I think the expectation is gonna be a month or two at the most, well, a meeting or two for Amy's.
Yeah, they're just looking to get the reapproval, that's all.
Right, so they think they might be able to do in one meeting, really.
Okay,
If the planning board believes that it is substantially the same, the situation has not changed, there's nothing that's significantly different that we know about now than was there when Amy's did it originally, therefore, all their secret documents are the same, or are verifiable, and their site plan and everything else. That's what I'm saying. Do we believe anything has changed substantially enough that maybe they have to redo, whatever, yeah.
the only thing that's really changed since the time they did this a decade ago is the traffic is insanely bit worse than it used to be. And anybody that lives in the town knows that, we've talked about it ad nauseum. I don't think it's gonna change anything. And I don't think it's enough of a reason, I don't even think you can legally decline them based on that.
No, but there may be a reason to, and I think that is the one problem, or the one issue I can picture, is that perhaps if we really do believe that traffic has changed enough that it wasn't something we considered back whenever it was first approved, that maybe something else has to be done to improve traffic.
But Hartley Road and River Road, there's stop signs, there's lights, I mean, you know. So,
Yes, yeah,
I mean,
but maybe, well, for one thing, Amy's Kitchen is not allowed to go out onto Hartley Road.
Okay.
That's why they built
It's
the
emergency
bridge,
access
right?
only, yeah.
Okay.
So,
Again,
so the question maybe is whether or not it makes more sense at this point in time that Amy's Kitchen have two ways in and out. I don't know the answer, I'm not suggesting it's right. I'm just saying, if we believe that traffic is different enough than what it was approved, then we need to suggest that that be looked at. And it may be a simple thing, of, yeah, we looked at it and we don't think there's a big enough difference that they should do anything different. Should they retime the lights at River Road? Maybe they should retime the lights. Should some of the, I don't know.
well, every business that's coming up, this new thing is this, what is it when they pay for the road, park
Yeah.
payments?
A fair share or whatever.
Fair share.
Yeah.
They're contributing fair share, it's 25 to 30,000, when there's enough money, then they'll pay to change 17 out. Now, Amy's did put a tremendous amount of money into that intersection, and lights and everything else. And had they built when they were supposed to, we wouldn't have a problem. But now, traffic is different. So we're gonna need your fair share contribution to make it, you want it, you want this? You're gonna have to help with the road, because traffic is different.
So, we think so, and so
I think so.
consequently, I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm just saying, I think what we have to suggest is that traffic be relooked at. With
Traffic.
current standards.
I'm fine, I don't think there's been a change in water topography.
No, in
A
fact, the
long
water's
years
still there,
back,
and that pipe, it's.
Yeah, no, it's, all of that's the same.
Yep.
It is substantially the same, I'm fine with that, but traffic is absolutely different, and I think they should,
It needs to be looked at as to whether or not they
Needs to be
should be
looked
doing
at.
some other litigation to.
yep, kick in for
As
that.
a result of it.
There's my 2 cents.
John,
Great.
okay,
Got that, yeah.
so that's, I think, what we're talking about is the traffic impacts. Okay, 6.5 Station Road. Okay, the old Orange Hollow.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay.
Did they not approve this? We had it on
It
the.
was on the planning board, but no, they didn't approve it yet.
What,
They've been using it for whatever.
No, that has been used, right, yes, it is, they are currently using it, and they are repackaging or packaging, excuse me, vitamins and that kind of thing. And so what they want more area.
Where are they gonna put this?
Well, I think they're gonna put it in the front there, where they have like a piece that sticks out, I'm trying to picture, what used to be.
Office or pool or whatever?
Right, when the pool was there,
Yeah, when
and
the
I think they
pool
wanna
was.
square out the building more. Anyhow, they wanna add to the building,
Okay, because they can't.
because they
They
need
can't
more
go
room.
back because of.
No, they can't go back, they're really restricted by wetlands and all that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
so they used to, huh?
In all honesty, we haven't had any real issues with that property, have we?
which one?
The old Orange Hollow. We're calling it the 6.5 Station Road Warehouse Edition.
Tennis place.
No, I don't usually do the violation
Yeah.
stuff on Gelda, so.
I never had a problem with it when I was there, they, pretty much everything is contained in there. They look, from the outside, I've never seen it.
Actually, I can look it up for you, hold on.
I did speak on this at the public hearing at the ZBA, because they were at ZBA for this, because they're over the permitted 40,000 square foot.
Oh, they are.
They are, because they're under right now, but this addition will put them over, not by a lot.
How much more?
Can you remember? 40, I wanna say it goes to 43,000 or
Yeah,
something
it's
like
not-
that.
it's not a whole bunch, no, it's not.
20,000.
No, it's not multiples of them.
My comments with, at the public hearing were that, this is the right place for that site. They're not up against the RU, they're not asking for a setback variance, they're not asking to, for a height variance, they're simply putting a little bit up the front. I didn't see a problem with it,
Yeah.
and, you know, this coming from the warehouse guy, that really blew the guys away, but the truth is, I was a yes on it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We had talked about this, and we had talked about this in September, we had this before us, and at the time, if you remember, we all agreed there was really not much to say about it.
Yeah.
It's where it belongs, and it doesn't hurt anybody, and according to the applicant, they're not gonna have an increase in traffic. I don't know if that's true or not, but assuming that their trucks are not going out full right now because they can't warehouse enough, the idea is this will increase their capacity to warehouse, and they'll send out full trucks. Same number of trucks, I don't know how true that is, but I do know that, again, it's, look where it is, right? It's
Yeah.
right there to 17M, there's no houses around it.
Stuff comes in there with tractor trailer.
Yeah, truck comes in by tractor trailer.
And leaves by.
I think it leaves smaller than that. I don't think it's,
Yeah.
I'm not sure it doesn't even leave by like UPS or FedEx or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I know, they got hit with, during COVID, they got hit really bad with all of a sudden, the trucking from the West Coast. I think all of a sudden it was costing them $10,000 for a tractor trailer from the West Coast.
Wow.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Well, I didn't have any other comments on that project,
Okay,
if anybody, John does.
good.
Good.
Let's go with local law number 9, temporary moratorium on the battery energy storage. I think in the past, we've given our opinion on this and a lot of concerns about it. Do we want to add anything? I think, let's ask the question, do we support the moratorium?
Yes.
I also support the moratorium for a good reason. I've said this before, when the town passed the law of allowing this by special use permit, we didn't know what questions needed to be asked, because quite frankly, we didn't know the dangers that come with a battery energy storage system. Since then, we have seen a number of catastrophic fires at these locations. It's not because anybody did anything wrong, it's just the nature of the business. Tremendous amount of heat builds up as you're charging these batteries from the high tension lines. I think that they've come leaps and bounds in the cabinetry that they use, in the fire detection that they use, and fires happen less frequently, but they still happen, and until we can safely extinguish that fire, I'm not looking to put our residents at risk with inhalation issues, which an electrical fire certainly will cause. Now, a temporary moratorium just means that during that time, we need to study it.
Right.
And that would be the town board who would,
We'll decide what needs to be studied.
okay?
So if we have suggestions as to what we think needs to be studied, we can bring that up. They can ignore us, but we can bring it up.
Well,
But-
you know, the thing is this, what I'm asking for is something that doesn't exist right now. I'm asking for a fire suppression system that will extinguish a battery energy storage system fire as you would a house fire, that is to say, no more than 4 hours. 4 hours from fire suppression to the time it's extinguished.
Wow, that's
Is that
understandable.
us or?
That's
Sound
right
like
above
up
me.
above.
Something fell?
Fell off the steeple,
That's
I
been
guess.
happening for like 10, 20 minutes now.
All right.
You've heard movement or what?
Oh, the jury room.
Snow?
No, that's movement. Because I've been hearing it go like all across here.
Well, I don't know that I'd keep sitting there, but you know, you do you.
My steps here, I
Okay.
can't move.
Okay, man, stayed at his post.
Duck under the table, quick.
Those are my comments, that, you know, it's, that the technology to suppress the fire, just doesn't exist right now. Their current, standard operating procedures to let the fire burn, let the fire extinguish itself, I don't think that's a good idea, but, I think we're going to, you know, study it, and, if the town board would, like input from the ERB, I'd be willing to get in there and roll my sleeves up. But I do support a moratorium because we just don't know enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are ways to extinguish smaller fires. And they actually put it on inside of like a 55-gallon drum, and then, I was gonna say foam around it, but there is something you put around it that will keep it suppressed.
How do you cover of.
Well, the trouble with it, you keep it, it's like a battery from a e-bike or something like that, you can put in there and control it. But there is nothing I've heard for this, and I think you could extinguish it, the trouble is that it reignites. You know, so if you could put it out, and in fact, that was one of the big issues, is that they would put it out inside of a container, and then at some point they go to make sure it's all out, and they open it up and it explodes and just takes off again.
Well, that's your backdraft.
Right,
So,
yes.
this is, the thing about the battery fire is that it's not a traditional fire.
Right.
It's not a class A, B, or C fire, it's a thermolytic runaway, right? It creates its own oxygen.
Yeah.
You can put the battery in a pool of water, it will continue to burn, like magnesium, makes its own oxygen. So, we just don't have the solution yet, the material that we need to extinguish it. It's not a matter of taking away the oxygen, it's not a matter of cooling it down, this thing just continues to burn. That's why, and the other problem with that is as you do pour water onto it, you're now contaminating wherever that water goes.
Right, the contamination's going wherever it's at with water.
Town of Montgomery has, did you just by chance go upstairs to the top of the, wait, we're on the second, we're on the.
No, we're on the first floor, she went to the second floor.
You did, and it still
It's
exists,
still
the
out.
roof didn't cave in. I can neither confirm nor deny, I'm not an engineer, I've learned not to say. Okay.
I
but the-
think the other concern that they should be able to figure out, and I know they keep on saying there's so many issues, but if it is burning, how far away do people need to be evacuated right away? Know I'm safe, then if it's burning slower, then maybe they can be closer than that, but I think that.
There is a very simple answer to that question, and they make it very difficult.
Yes.
If you're close enough to feel the heat, you're too close, okay?
Right.
Secondly, it depends if you're upwind or downwind.
Yes.
If you're upwind, it doesn't matter, you're not breathing in the fumes, but if you're anywhere downwind, you are contaminated. As soon as you can smell it, you're
All right,
contaminated.
so the question is, how far away, if the fire breaks out, how far off the property for TAM, because TAM's gonna have enough, how much of TAM's property needs to be evacuated to start out with?
Well, first of all, it really depends on which way the wind is blowing,
Sure.
and then it depends which way the wind's blowing tomorrow and the day after, and we're talking 30
Sure.
days out, because this thing is just gonna keep going. Eventually, everybody in the town of Goshen's gonna get a piece of this,
Sure.
they're gonna catch a whiff, because this is the type of, they just really burn.
But we know, the fire department shouldn't have to show up on the scene and then make that event. Well, it feels like it should be 200 feet, or it feels like it should be 500 feet. There should be a table already out there.
There's-
Hey, a 5-mile-an-hour wind headed in that direction this far.
There are tables, but everyone has the caveat at the bottom with a little asterisk,
Sure.
and it says, if you can smell it,
Sure.
you're in the hot zone, you gotta get out.
Yep.
The other thing is, the applicant did say, and has said on more than one occasion, that they spoke to the Goshen Fire Department and they're fine with it. Those are the words they said, they're
Yes.
fine with it. I do not believe that is true.
What Goshen Fire Department said, and I read the letter, the Goshen Fire Department said that they're convinced that if this catches on fire,
Mhm.
they're going to let it burn out on its own.
Mhm.
They said that, and they're going to use water or whatever, or their action is gonna be only to prevent the spread of fire to adjacent properties or buildings or whatever.
Mhm.
And that, they did not think that it was, they also said that they did not think it was a threat to the health or safety of the community. I don't know how they made that jump. I mean,
Once again, if you can smell it, you're contaminated. And but I think what the Goshen Fire Department was saying is, they're not saying they're fine with the project, they're saying
No.
they're fine with the standard operating procedure, that they don't have to go in and try to put it out.
And I think they're right.
And
Their manpower's gonna be safe because of that.
And that's exactly what they should be concerned
Yes.
with, and so long as it doesn't, we're talking about the person and property, they're gonna protect that, as you said, it's a defensive tactic.
Yep.
But, again, if the wind is blowing with any kind of ferocity down, Chechunk Road, all those houses
Yeah.
they gotta get out, you
Yeah.
can't breathe this stuff in, it is the nastiest, an electrical fire, man, you'll
Smells,
taste it,
yeah, yeah.
you taste it for a week, it's
It's-
terrible.
Yeah.
But I don't, again, these are the questions I'd like answers to, and
Sure.
therefore I support a moratorium.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all unanimous for that. So, yeah, it was great when we used to be able to smell the fires from Canada. How far is good enough?
How far is far away, right?
Yeah.
You're contaminated, you're
And
taking
I-
it.
I
I can
can
tell
call-
you, those fires, man, I was taking, asthma was kicking up on me. I was like, what is going on? And then I realized I've been sucking this stuff in for a week.
Yeah.
It was just enough to
Yeah, I
just
knew people
irritate me.
wear masks in that because of the fires in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in support of that. Let's do the schedule, I think we already decided on it, but the schedule for meetings next year, we're going along with everything except that November
November 18th,
8th, we're going to November 18th,
move the 11th to the 18th.
okay? I have one more project, and we're not gonna get into it deeply. Elegant Homes or Big Sky Farm. It's proposing 96 single family or single bedroom or two bedroom senior housing. And they're proposing a hotel, and I don't recall how big the hotel, do you remember how big the hotel is? Anyhow, it's all this, this is right behind, from the driving range up behind Hacienda, that property there.
Yeah, didn't they come in for houses once?
They came in a long time ago, houses, this is somebody different, somebody else owns the property now. They're proposing 96 units of housing for,
Can you, I'm sorry, the driving range,
yes, we're on 17M.
17M,
From the driving range is the bottom part of the property, it goes all the way up to the end of, behind the Hacienda. That house right alongside the Hacienda is part of it.
okay, so,
So they're proposing that, they're proposing, the driveway they're proposing is down roughly opposite Max Point Sports. My comment always with things like this is, let's do the water study first, to find out how big it can be.
Yeah.
You know, if we come up with before you spend that bunch of money doing anything else, come up with a water study. I don't know if they're gonna say that they're gonna wait for the water to come to the town.
I'm just looking at this, so this is Hacienda,
Yep,
and then
sure, this is the, from here,
there's the driving range,
all
yeah.
the way back.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way to here.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
and it's gonna, okay, I've landed there.
Yep.
And then this is the
This is.
Kingdom of Jehovah's
Right,
Witnesses is
Kingdom
there.
of Jehovah, right, and this is part of, this will be part of the project area,
That would be,
part of the project area,
yeah,
right here.
yeah.
And this is part of the project area.
What about these houses?
Yep, they're part of the project area. They're proposing to keep it, they're proposing to have the driveway for this whole big project here,
Mhm.
for the hotel and the condos, or whatever they're all gonna be. The ideal location would be right here by the traffic light. You know, we have, this is, you come over the top here and you're coming down fast, that's a horrible dead spot.
It is, your sight line is,
Yeah, I mean, the ideal thing would be to come out of the traffic light. I think they're not gonna wanna do that, because they'll lose that one house and that one building that they really like.
okay, so where are we on this plan?
You're just coming in for the first
It'll
time.
be on the 18th, yeah, the next meeting.
Yeah, and it's gonna be on next week for the planning board to see it for the first time. It's a rough form.
Okay,
We'll look at it really more intensely, but I just wanted to bring it up.
All senior housing, then 55 and above or whatever,
Yeah.
no kids allowed except for.
Yeah, I guess that's what they're proposing. Again, before I spent any more money, if I was the applicant, before I spent any more money, I'd find out what I have for water. If you're gonna hook up to somebody else's water, then you might as well come up with a contract with somebody else's water. You gotta,
what's the closest municipal source would be?
right across the way to Arcadia Hills.
Oh, under the highway to Arcadia.
That's,
You don't want, Arcadia's a mess, they don't wanna tap into Arcadia?
I'm not saying they do, I'm
That
saying
water's
that,
terrible.
but the answer is, they probably don't have enough water here.
The hotel is 26,000 square feet.
Okay.
Is Stonehenge?
That's not huge.
Stonehenge is,
Stonehenge is further away, that's, yep.
it's down but it's on that side of the highway.
It's on that side of the highway,
And
yeah.
you go down
You
the
gotta go
road.
across the stream there to get there.
And Stonehenge is part of,
It's part of the Maple, it's part of the whole thing there.
right,
Yeah.
okay, but I'm just saying, there's a
Yeah.
chance to get in over there. And that water is good, that's on the green sand now.
Yeah.
So
But if they're gonna get that, they should come up with a, we used to call it for, electricity or gas, a will serve. Get a letter from the utility saying, we will serve this project.
Yeah. All right, so that's coming.
Yeah,
All right,
we will do that more completely when they get more to it.
okay.
So 20,000 square feet, I don't know what that comes out to be for a hotel. That's not a big hotel. So, probably less than 50 rooms maybe, something like that. I'm guessing, I don't know the answer. Okay. Anything else?
I wrapped it up at 8 PM.
Yeah.